Hello all! How's it going, everybody? RNG here, y'all's favorite music-loving, yarn-spinning, orange cat boy. Welcome to the Orange Cat Music Chat, the series that I usually do every week, every other week, depending on my workload, where I get together with fellow music-loving VTubers and try to get their unique perspectives on things, whether they're idols, whether they're just sort of indie bedroom musicians. All are welcome, and I welcome you all as well into the chat. I see we've got a few from our guest fan base today, Nova of Starlight, Alistair Plague, and the guest herself in chat. Welcome, all of you guys. I hope you all are doing fantastic tonight. Well, relatively speaking. My guest is actually living in the next day already. But yeah, I hope you all have been doing well this week. Things are finally starting to warm up in New York City, and thank God for that, because I've as much as I like snow, it's kind of a pain in the ass to have it laying all over the place for like multiple weeks at a time, because it's just too damn cold to melt, So I'm happy to see it melting, but unfortunately that has come with the unfortunate reveal of people's doggy droppings that they just haven't picked up. So that's a whole discourse going on right now. Don't ask me how people in New York City are dog owners, but that's a whole situation and a half. But things have been warming up, relatively speaking, and that hopefully means I can be a bit more social. Actually, earlier today I was eating lunch with a cousin of mine who was coming to do some, I guess, sightseeing, hanging out with friends and whatnot, and he just happened to be in the area and wanted to come get lunch with me. So we hung out for a bit. It's really cool, getting to connect with. Really cool getting to connect with a younger relative, sort of independent of family, we're kind of letting F-bombs fly or whatever, and, freely shooting the breeze in a way that I don't think we usually would have done, in front of parents, but, it's all a lot of fun. Barely get snow in England nowadays, really. And that's surprising to me, given how much more northerly, the British Isles are compared to the rest of America. We, what was it? It's crazy too, because just before this winter, I thought the New York City area was upgraded to some sort of a tropical climate, but all of a sudden here we are just getting fucked by the more extreme end of the weather. It's like climate change. You can never expect where it's gonna go next. It's crazy and vaguely concerning, but we're not going to dwell on that for right now. I think we should get into our guest of the evening today. So this person that I brought on, I found them a few weeks ago on Twitter, and they had a really, fascinating model to me, or at least, really cool aesthetic to them. I was going around Blue Sky as I usually do, making the rounds, reaching out to music-loving VTubers, and, she just happened to catch my eye. And, as I dug further in her, I saw she had, a YouTube channel where, a few YouTube channels, one where she was, mostly her IRL self just going around and taking care of animals and whatnot, and the other where she's a variety streamer, VTuber, and all that stuff, and she makes her own music on the side. And I'm really fascinated to dig into all of that today, especially because she sent me a list of her taste, as I usually ask for my guests, and it's half very hard, complicated rock, half a very folksy atmosphere, and I'm curious to see where those mesh in terms of her style, in terms of her taste, in terms of her philosophies on music and life and all that stuff. So, won't you please join me in welcoming Starcrossed Vixen? Welcome to the stream. Sarkis.
Hi. Oh, good. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How about yourself? I know you're coming to us from all the way in the land down under. So how's February 15th?
Really warm actually. It's a bit of a scorcher today.
Oh yeah, you guys, you I hate to say that you guys are lucky, given that this is literally just how the world works. But like, while we're up here freezing our asses off, you guys are having your summer.
Yes, yeah, it makes for an interesting Christmas. I'll give you that.
Oh man, I can only imagine. Um, but yeah, the way that I usually like to kick these streams off is by turning, the attention to my guests, opening the floor to them. And one way, and the way I like to do that is by asking them, what really sparked your passion for music? Because, it's one thing to sort of have music as a casual constant in your life, as sort of mood music, background noise, or what have you. Another thing entirely to be a VTuber that has your own sort of music hustle on the side. You do commissions, you have your own Spotify singles up there. So where did that really start from you?
Oh, that's a hard one. I don't know. I've always had music in my life. Like I
Mm-hmm.
remember, dad always having the radio on, or the CDs on, or even, uh, God, why have I forgotten what they're called? The record player going.
Oh,
There's a
vinyl,
lot of
yeah, like
Simon and
LPs.
Garfunkel. Yeah, a lot of Simon and Garfunkel, Barbra
Nice.
Streisand, Neil Diamond, a lot of Enya as well.
Oh,
And
yeah.
from there, we always had a piano in the house, so I used to tinker on that when I was little, and I
Okay.
started doing music lessons in primary school, high school, uni. Like it just kept going.
Mm-hmm. And I take it did you do a bunch of ensembles in school at all?
A lot. It was like every single lunchtime I was busy in band practice.
Oh,
Drove
nice.
my friends insane.
uh,
No, I
what,
remember
so good.
high school. I was simultaneously taking guitar lessons, vocal lessons, and French horn lessons, if you would
Oh
believe.
man. That's intense. Most I ever did at any one time in terms of like multi-instrumental specialization was technically in college, where I only was like learning about like I was studying vocals and like drums at the same time. That's
Mm.
hardly like hardly being multi-instrumental, but at the same time, I'm thankful now that I am able to do like some vocal harmonies from behind the kit in some of my IRL bands.
Yeah, awesome. No, that's really cool.
uh yeah, no, it's and did you I guess did you take that did you take that with you at all to like I don't know, how do they call the higher education system in Australia? Did you study like any music at
Yeah,
all up there?
university and such.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Music for me was always a bit of a
Oh,
like I
okay.
loved it, but I couldn't see myself making money off it.
No,
So
that
I'm
makes
actually an
sense.
engineer. I did no music in uni.
Oh, okay, okay. No, I get that. Like, it's making a
It's
living off
hard.
of music. Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, just like, especially nowadays, where it feels like everybody is their own distributor now, and
Hmm,
that's liberating in some respects, but in others, like you really have to like learn how to market yourself and put yourself out there, and I mean, that's just every
exactly. Yeah.
entertainer nowadays. Between like streamers, between oh, film stars, the musicians, they're all doing they're all doing that stuff.
100%. And I think for me, like, because I've got a bit of a jack of all trades, I've got a lot of passions, but I didn't want to see any of the arts that I do, whether it's music or actually drawing and such, turn into a chore. I
Oh
don't know. I
yeah,
always feel like work is a bit of a chore for me, so I wanted to try
yeah,
and keep
yeah.
it fun, keep it separate, no obligation, sort of thing.
No, I'm kind of the same too. It's why I've really hesitated, sort of committing to making VTubing a full-time thing for me. I've got a
Yeah.
good gig on the side that helps me pay the bills and whatnot, and it robs me of a lot of free time that I could otherwise use to like really pour myself into my content. But if I do that, if I decide, fuck it, I'm not doing like a regular job and committing to this, I feel like that's, now a whole bunch of added pressure to what was previously like a fun creative outlet for me, essentially.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's good to have like, a job on the side to fall back on anyway. Something to pay the bills while you actually get to do the things that you love.
Honestly, I mean, I feel like nowadays with cost of living or whatever, that's a requirement. It's not exactly easy to be a starving artist these days. You'll be a starved artist.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
So what's the music scene like over there? Because you're in America, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm in New York City, so we used to have like. We used to have like gangbusters, scenes in the city or whatever decades ago. Even in the 2010s, I've heard that. I've heard Williamsburg was kind of center to a lot of stuff. Like we had like Mac DeMarco and a bunch of other like bands sort of coming through there. But nowadays, I don't really, I do play around in a few, in like 2 different bands, but I'm not really that ear to the ground with what's necessarily going on, though there is like there are a lot of cool acts bumping here or there, a lot of grunge revivalism, surprisingly.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, no, it's.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not really a lot of pathways in Australia for musicians. It's a bit of a
I've
tight
heard.
market.
I remember doing research. I did this one deep dive into the live history of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, if you're familiar. And they, how to say, one recurring theme that kept cropping up for me was just the economic absurdity of trying to like get off the ground as an artist in Australia, because every city is like hundreds of miles apart. You have to like that is so much cost in terms of like logistics, like transporting your gear around, driving, flying. It's nutty. And like the most absurd thing of all is that you end up having to freaking go over to America and get famous there to really justify the cost of touring in Australia.
Yeah, it's not great.
Although, I have heard great things about Melbourne. I really do want to go to Melbourne at some point.
Yeah, Melbourne's definitely a bit of an international hub. So I live near Melbourne, and it's definitely one of the better cities if you want to get big into music and such. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of opportunity. There's really 2 places that are big enough to accommodate that sort of thing, which was Sydney and Melbourne. All the other cities are not well known. They don't get a lot of traffic in and stuff like that. But even then, like, for me to drive to Sydney would probably take me 2 days, day and a half.
Yeah.
So,
frankly, it's a miracle to me that they're even like. I'm not sure how familiar you are with sort of all the psychedelic music that's come out of like Perth and Fremantle. Your Tame Impalas, your Ponds, your I think even psychedelic porn trumpets are from there. But it's like, it's crazy like how you can have such these like cultural oases in like
it's insane,
hundreds of miles apart.
Perth is such a strange mix as well, because I think even like was it the Hollow Night Debs were there, or maybe they were in Adelaide? But like,
they're in Adelaide, yeah.
Perth
Team Cherry's Adelaide.
Perth to me is a mining town. Like, for them to be a hub of music is just insane. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you mentioned you've played a few instruments as you were growing up. What do you know how to play right now?
So I know how to play piano, guitar. They're the 2 main ones.
Okay.
I'm pretty rusty on French horn at the moment, but I could play it. I've just lost a lot of like the muscle buildup that you have for that sort of instrument.
Yeah, fair.
I used to do a little bit of violin, but my bow has been disintegrated for a while, and I haven't gotten it fixed yet.
I used to do violin mainly piano too, but it's kind of a it's kind of a misnomer to say that I did violin. In a sense, like, what was it? It was like right around the time that my elementary school was basically starting up their orchestra for the first time. You know, we were still a small, young school or whatever. So I don't know if I had an interest or if I was voluntold into it, but I picked up violin, and I was like in the second violin section for my orchestra. Never practiced, never got good enough to take off the fingering tapes, so I was just kind of, I don't know, I was just kind of there and getting chewed out by my orchestral instructor every now and then for not knowing the stuff as well as I should have.
I know that vibe. Yep.
yeah, it's a thing. Honestly, I think I think it was good that I discovered vocals. Well, not discovered, but I got a taste for like choirs at some time, and like joined the high school choir, and started doing theater. And then, sort of around that same time, I got heavily into, percussion and like playing the drums, because I was like into the Rock Band Guitar Hero games. And
yeah, nice.
I was able to, like, I guess, cleanly separate my ability in like tonality and rhythm that way. Like, for me, it's I don't know, it's really hard to sort of pick up and learn some sort of tonal instrument like a guitar or a piano, because I'm not that good at practicing scales.
Yeah, well, there's a lot more like technicalities there. I'm sure there's a lot in percussion as well, but it's so different than how you think it's gonna go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, theoretically speaking, if I sat down with a guitar for like a few weeks and only focused on like learning chords, I feel like I could get decently, get up to shape well enough as like a rhythm guitarist. But it's just like the pressure to learn everything else to really expand your palette. It's always going to be there, and I don't know if I have the free time I'm willing to commit to really drilling down into that right now, unfortunately.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, guitar was very much a lot of theory for me. That was sort of where I learned a lot about music, things about like, how a chord's actually made. Even like the entire guitar fretboard is essentially a piano keyboard. Like it's, if you know how it works, you know the theory behind it, you can play a chord anywhere along it. Like it's nuts.
That's interesting. It's usually I think of the piano as the one that's the straightforward music theory instrument. Though I guess if you understand the translation between the two, it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like guitar's got a lot of dimension to it. You can change how certain notes sound by how you actually pluck the string. You've even got harmonics, which is good fun. Makes some really cool ethereal sounds. Whereas piano, I've always found is kind of, there's definitely some dimension to it, but it's a lot more rigid. It's a percussion instrument, so yeah.
It's definitely one that's hard to master. I know I've got a pretty good pianist friend of mine that plays in one of my bands, and he's been at it a while.
Is he the sort of guy to find a piano in the street and just pull out some sort of masterpiece that he just knows by heart?
I don't know if I've ever seen him do something like that, although he he is quite good. He's very jazz adept, very nice. Very spry and improvisatory like that. Which instruments or I guess do you know how to produce yourself?
I do.
Okay.
Self-taught.
Yeah. What instruments or production techniques would you want to learn if you had the spare time? Like, obviously, you're growing as your own sort of independent artist on the side, and I don't know, like, what would you want to incorporate in your skill set for the future?
Ooh, one of my problems is definitely just tools. Because I'm obviously not making any money on this, it's just for fun.
Right.
I try to do things as cheaply as possible. So like all my vocals, even if I have a guitar that's not simulated in the piece.
Yeah.
I'm using a Blue Yeti microphone to record.
Okay.
I have a cheap digital keyboard that I use for the piano stuff. Like it's very much, I'd like
Yeah.
to get more into the physical, technical side of producing music.
Yeah.
But the other thing that's hard for me is drums. I
Mm.
don't know, if I had a drum kit, then sure, I'd be able to like work out how everything works. But trying to do it from like an emulator, I
Yeah.
don't have the theory
No, it
to know
can-
it well enough. So
Yeah,
that's
can-
definitely an area.
Can be a bit of a, you know, depending on the software, it can be a bit of a hassle putting together a beat by from MIDI. I don't know.
It's even just like little
Right.
shapes trying to work out, okay, hang on, this is this particular drum on the drum kit. Like how does this oh I definitely envy those who have a drum kit at home. I wish I did.
Yeah, no, I'm fortunate that the one that I've had these past 8 years is still, you know, decently functional. I've had a few technical errors on like some of the pads recently, which has me a little worried, but at the very least, even then, I can just sort of go online and look up Elisa's Nitromesh replacement cymbal pad, or Elisa's Nitromesh replacement snare pad, and just get that replaced instead of, you know, shelving the entire damn thing for a new one.
Yeah. Is it like, do you have to patch them, or is it more like you got to rip the whole thing out and replace it?
Well, I'm not sure about that, like if there's like any like firmware that needs to be updated for those. So I think it's just as simple as, you know, taking one pad away and replacing it with another, essentially.
Oh, right. So it's all digital, are you saying? I was
I
expecting
think
it was a drum kit and you were replacing the skin or something.
No. Yeah, it's not in New York City. God no. You could never get away with an acoustic drum kit here. But yeah, no. The electronic kit I've had, you know, it's weird practicing on electronic kits. It's never quite the same as if you're playing on the real thing, right? But
Yeah.
But it is, you know, it is reliable. It is helpful to, you know, blow off some steam every now and then there.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's awesome. I bet your neighbors appreciate it being digital. So.
Absolutely. So, delving into your taste a little, you sent me some of your favorite bands and artists off stream. You know, among them, you know, you like Sleep Token, Normandy, Starset, you know, a bunch of heavy stuff on the one hand, but also, you know, you're into Alex Warren, Ed Sheeran, Noah Kahan, Hozier, you know, soft acoustic guitar music like that. So, like, what's the history there? How do those tastes sort of mesh in terms of your, I guess, overall taste and all that?
Yeah, I guess I started getting more into like the rock and the metal during high school.
Okay.
For me, I found them a lot more interesting in how like the music is put together.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of bands on that list that have more of like a cinematic rock sort of vibe.
Right.
Starset especially, it feels like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that sort of thing. Like I grew up with a lot of video games like Halo, Destiny, even stuff like Lord of the Rings, where they've got really amazing soundtracks. So for me, that sort of pulled me more into the rock space, especially since Halo even has a Breaking Benjamin song in it. Halo 2. But then at the same time, like I really enjoy more like guitaristic sort of songs. I love the ones where they're actually fun to sing. So things like Hozier and Ed Sheeran, they're quite fun for me. Ed Sheeran especially has some really lovely like guitar melodies in his pieces that are really fun to play.
You know,
That's sort of where the split is, yeah.
I've heard that, you know, Ed Sheeran's got a lot of really good stuff in his early career, but, you know, everything he's made after a certain point, I just hear everybody completely trashing it.
I definitely still like it, but it's not the same vibe.
Yeah.
It's a lot more modernized.
Yeah, no, he's definitely become, you know, more of a big pop star than just, you know, the shaggy old redhead, you know, busking to people on the London subway or whatever that he once was.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Hozier's interesting, too, because I don't really know like his full catalog that well. I only really know that he, made Take Me to Church however many years ago, and then somehow he got another hit recently, didn't he? I mean, I don't know. Given that,
I'm trying to think of them. He did that that duo Northern Attitude with Noah recently, but there was another one that took off.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to think. Too Sweet, that's what it was. I don't know.
Too Sweet. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how much it blew up in Australia, but I know that reached as high as what was it? Freaking #1. Oh my God, Hozier hit #1 in the year of our Lord 2024.
Yeah, he does pretty well here.
But how to say? But like, how have these bands and artists, like, how have they sort of shaped your approach to music? Do you take equal inspiration for them for what you write, or?
Oh, definitely. So I find the more folk sort of songs are easier for me to write. But I want to get to the stage where I can write the more like cinematic rock songs. So there is one that I wrote, I Wish That I, and that's definitely the one that's gotten closest to something similar to a Starset song.
Yeah.
But like the first song I wrote, Maybe We'll Be Okay, was very much folk. So,
I mean,
but I do like.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's right. I do find that now that I've started writing music, I'm analyzing the music I listen to a lot more and being like, oh, how'd they do that? Like, why does this sound so good? What's the effect that they're doing here? So it's been quite interesting to take inspiration from some of these artists.
No, it's really nice when you reach that state as a musician, right? Where you're able to listen to music more for what it is than what you think of it, right? Like, cause
exactly, yeah.
How to say, before I went to college, right, I was very much, at various stages in my life, I was one of those kids who was like, I was born in the wrong generation, rock music was so much better than what we got today, that sort of attitude. And even to a certain degree, even before I got to college, like I was sort of expanding my palette, but it was really more just along the lines of like alternative rock than like really branching out across genres. But then, like, I don't know, as I learned more about music theory, as I learned more about, musicians really playing off of each other and like the construction of music that proceeds from all of that stuff, I really got to better appreciate just like what artists were going for, whether they rap, jazz, rock, R&B, soul. It really opened the door to like, I guess me trying to absorb as many influences as a sponge in my own playing.
Yeah, definitely. No, 100%.
A song, I Wish That I by Chris Vixen, is so good to sing along to. Ooh.
Thanks, Nova.
We got your shooters in chat.
We do.
How do you tend to discover new artists? Are you like the sort of person who listens to random playlists on streaming platforms, or do you tend to get recommendations from friends?
Mostly recommendations from Spotify, but my brother and a couple of other friends have very similar music tastes to me, so we do tend to suggest musicians and songs back and forth. It's mostly Spotify recommended.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, just like nowadays, I mean, I do still listen, to playlists on Spotify every now and then. It's hard to really migrate them to other platforms, but the further along we get into the streaming era, and the more these platforms do engage in unethical practices, I just feel so sour over the whole thing. YouTube is still pretty decent, I think, in terms of discovering music personally, but I've my, most of my discoveries these days have been from playing the sort of fan-made open source rock band clone, Yet Another Rhythm game. There's a ton of like custom music that people have released for that, and I've just I've been playing along a bunch of random stuff and getting exposed to it that way.
Yeah, nice. I feel like another way I've done in the past, I'm not big on TikTok now, but I used to, constantly be scrolling that app.
Oh yeah.
And there were a lot of really good musicians on that app.
I'm
Very nice to try
I'm
and find some people through there.
That there's a lot that you can say about the negative impacts of TikTok on modern culture, sure, but
definitely.
But music, like the way it has exposed the younger generations to so much music, it is that's one of the better things to have come from that.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of the apps I find has the best reach for people. It's just nuts what you can find.
Yeah, but now that we're tearing it up in the States, and
Yeah.
there are a whole bunch
Yeah, have
of
you still
other
got access to
platforms
it?
cropping up.
What's happened there?
Personally, I've never used TikTok myself, but from what I hear, I think like people are having to like re-verify themselves and give like I don't know, like they're being like the user terms are updated so that people are being like tracked or whatever, geolocated. I don't know. It's very shady shit, and we need to be migrating off of. That's the damn shame, and it then we need to migrate, but at the same time, like doing so,
Like, where do you go?
we just fracture ourselves into so many little atomized parts, and
Exactly.
And
I think what's going to be very interesting for Australian culture, at least, is we've recently introduced a ban on social media for people under 16 years of age.
yeah.
And what that's going to do to the music scene will be very interesting. I think Discord might have been exempt from that. Video games as well were exempt, but everything else has been wiped. I think YouTube is like, they can only have YouTube Kids. Like, it's...
I just
like, God, how do you...
I don't understand why everybody in the Western world, or the Anglosphere rather, are getting so neurotic now over like trying to parentally restrict the internet for kids. It's like, I mean, I guess I can get it to a certain extent, given how great the internet has been for exposing kids to opinions that they otherwise might not have heard, from dominant narratives or whatever. But it's just like, I don't know. It's so stupid what's happening, and I hope we're able to look back on this in like however many years' time and realize it was just an uptick in neuroticism over another moral panic, essentially.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what the effect is over time. I can see the reasoning for it. I can see why it's a bad thing at the same time. I think the instant cutoff is gonna be problematic. There's gonna be a lot of mental health issues from that.
Absolutely.
It's kind of nuts. Like, I can't imagine all the things that I wouldn't have found out about, like whether it's music or games or otherwise, if I didn't have social media. And I only had it like growing up in high school. Like, that's when I started getting into Facebook.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I didn't have a mobile phone until high school. Like, so yeah, interesting. I got all of my, I don't know if America has an equivalent, or maybe this is an American thing as well. But like, I got all of my music from either radio or we had these CDs called So Fresh and Now, and they were like the top pop hits of that particular year.
I mean, we also had
there was no range.
We also had the Now That's What I Call Music series over here. I don't know if those are still going, but I think we still have Kids Pop at the very least.
God.
So, so to get a bit more into like how you make your own music, right? How do you develop ideas for composition? Like, walk me through your workflow. What sort of softwares do you use? Like, what do you usually just record guitar, piano? What's your process like?
So usually, like, I find I can't sit down and create a song. I have to have some sort of idea pop into my head.
Hmm.
So it'll usually be like, 3 a.m., middle of the night, I've woken up, and I just have this tune in my head, and I'll pull out my phone, record a video of just humming the tune. So in the morning, I can work out, hang on, is this actually a good tune, or have I just, been completely half asleep when I came up with this? From there, I will. I work through Cakewalk.
Oh yeah.
I don't have a Mac, so I get a lot of shit for not having a Mac. But so I use all the free software I can.
That's fine, yeah.
And I'll bring up some emulators usually. I might twiddle around on the piano or the guitar first to see what sort of sounds good and how to flesh out the melody.
Yeah.
But then it's a lot of just building up emulators and seeing what sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I personally like to put a lot of string instruments into my pieces. I'm a big fan of symphonies and stuff. Symphonies, sorry.
Right. So like these are like string arrangements or whatever that you sort of tune yourself.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. They're all just digital emulators. I can't remember what the actual one is that I use. And then from there, I'll have the sort of melody stuck in my head, and I'll start trying to work out some lyrics. Sometimes I'll have a particular message I want to get out. Like the very first song I wrote was, I thought I'd start with something easy and do a bit of a love song, but then it's going through at the time, me and my fiance, we'd moved out, we've gotten a dog. The dog had so many health issues, and it was just sort of all this shit's happening, but we're in love. We've got each other. It'll be okay, sort of thing. And that's what the song was that I wrote. And then the next song, it was clearly a very depressive time when I started getting into music. There's a lot of people in my life that were depressed, myself included. So I wrote a song about what it actually feels like, and that it feels like you want to do the things that you need to do, but you're letting people down, you can't do them, but it's well, you can't ask me to do more because I'm doing my best right now.
Yeah, that's a move.
So, yeah. I started getting into some more heartbeated stuff. But for me, it's very much what is the melody speaking to me, and what do I want to talk about in this particular song? So yeah. I don't know. Does that kind of answer the question?
No, absolutely. No, it's cool that you're you're able to fine tune things to that degree. Spruce a little, I guess, Baroque arrangement on top of things and try to get that cinematic feel.
Yeah, I really love trying to do that. It's a lot of time spent just putting the same melody for different instruments and seeing what sounds the coolest.
Yeah. I bet it's really gotten you good at harmonization and voice leading and that stuff too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've always really enjoyed harmonies in general. Even just listening to the songs on the radio and singing along, I tend to just start harmonizing to it.
Oh yeah.
I find that quite entertaining, especially for the long drives. So for me, it's almost natural to start, harmonizing all these instruments and the vocals and such.
Right, yeah.
So just trying to work out technically how song production works is the hard part for me. Stuff I didn't realize until I got into it just how much processing goes into vocals to try and make them sound good. Stuff taking out the middle parts and equalizing how you actually equalize vocals to sound good and pop where they need to and have the bass and not just be monotone. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts.
EQ is still something that I have trouble really figuring out on my own time. I know roughly how it works. I just do not know how to make the sort of determinations that I need to make something sound good.
I feel like it changes every time.
Exactly,
I can
exactly. It's just
get the
like,
foundation and then you sort of fine tune from there. And even just
yeah,
like having, depending on what instruments you've got in, what frequencies they take up can change how you need to equalize your vocals to have them stand out from the rest.
yeah,
It's
no,
crazy.
exactly. That's why whenever I do, vocal covers on this channel, I usually just tend to, mix it in the in the mixing dock or whatever well enough so
Mm,
that you can hear me over the instrumental backing track, and that's it.
exactly. Oh, and the other thing that's always a pain is making the song sound good in different devices.
Oh
Like how
yeah,
it sounds in the headset I use to mix music on is so different to like a phone speaker. Like it sounds crap on a phone speaker. Never listen to music on a phone speaker.
God. Now that's something that I'm dreading too for my upcoming video essay that I'm currently working on. I'm doing everything basically through my Bluetooth speakers right now, but I know at some point I'm gonna have to go through the entire thing again with the earbuds and just listen out for parts that I didn't catch that are somehow mono and only playing in one ear, and I have to fix that. And
Oh
it's a
god, yeah.
it's a hassle.
Absolutely nuts. Now I find like a good headset, maybe like a Bluetooth gaming headset as well,
Mhm.
speakers and like little earbuds is usually what
Yeah.
what I try to listen to.
Mhm.
If it sounds good for all those, I'm like, it's probably gonna be fine.
Yeah, yeah. It's good to have a dedicated space for that. I don't know how well I would do in here and that. Even that everything with my bed and my computer and the closet, it's all like so close together.
Oh, that's a mood. Well, if it's any consolation, I record my vocals now like in my bedroom wardrobe because it's got good sound dampening.
Hey, there you go. Makeshift vocal booth.
Exactly, exactly.
uh,
So do you, when you make your music, are you actually listening to it through a Bluetooth speaker?
um, usually
'Cause
in the
that's
past.
nuts.
No, not music, but like my
Mm,
my deep dives, my video essays,
okay,
what
yeah.
have you. And it's worked well enough for me, but it does help to sweep through the entire thing and make sure that because somehow and I've had this happen to me before. Like there are certain times where I'll have a section where like I'm talking over music and it plays
Mm.
just fine when I'm listening to it over the Bluetooth, but when I put my earbuds in, suddenly it's like I can't really hear myself as well over this as opposed as I thought.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, gotcha.
It's a whole process and a half, but
Definitely.
uh so of the things that you've put out to date on Spotify and what have you, what's your favorite? And feel free to do a multiple choice lightning round if they're like all your babies, what have you. Yeah.
Uh, it's probably I Wish That I.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely the most cinematic I've done. But then like
Hmm.
there's a couple in there, um, like Run Little Fox. I actually use that for a time as like my VTuber background audio,
Okay.
the melody in that. So there's bits and pieces that I enjoy from all of them. But I feel
Uh-huh.
like I Wish That I was probably the most polished of them all. Like it was where I eventually wanted to get with the music. I just didn't have like the technicality to stay there for too long. I sort of need to go back and do more of the folk stuff and understand that before going back to that sort of
Right.
style.
How'd you say that you evolved as an artist over the years in terms of sounds preferred, themes tackled, etc.?
Um, yeah, good question. I feel like it's definitely gone back to the technical side of things.
Yeah, just getting
When I
more
started, it was a lot
comfortable
of
with your instruments.
yeah, exactly, and even just like the tools in your arsenal, whether it's like putting filters on it and such like that.
Right, right, right.
Like when I started, I wouldn't really put any post processing on a lot of the stuff. It'd probably just be the equalizer and that's it.
Oh
Maybe like
yeah.
some noise reduction or some gates. Now it's a lot of, you know, how can I make this guitar sound how I want it to, or how can I make this vocal part sound more like an echo and like a background piece rather than you know, the front of house. Even things like messing with, if you have headphones on, where it sounds like the sound's coming from, where whether it's coming from all around you, if it's coming from behind, like that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
To add some depth to it. It's a lot more of that sort of side of thing rather than you know, changing the music style and things.
Yeah, just becoming more confident as your own artist, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there any challenges that you'd like to set for yourself on your next project?
Yeah, I don't really know. Like I mostly just make things for it to be fun.
Yeah.
The most challenging thing for me was probably actually working out how to do like a decent like drum track
Yeah.
in my pieces.
That's fair.
And the other challenging part for me is I'm in quite a small house. So as I said, like I record stuff from my wardrobe. So it'd be good to actually like set up a decent you know, room or something to actually get some good audio. I find you probably hear the birds in the background. So I can't record while they're squawking, which is majority of the day. So the challenge there would really be, you know, actually setting up ideal conditions so it's less work for me in post-production.
You don't have any you have any basement space there, or that
No, Australian houses don't really have basements. We don't even have attics. It's just
I mean, I guess it makes sense because if you opened a basement in Australia, that God knows what would end up down there.
No, I don't know why we don't do it. Like obviously we have some flood prone areas, but I don't know. We just don't really do basements. And if we do have a basement, well, the spiders get in the house regardless if you have a basement or not. But most people that have basements have like turns it into another living space or a bedroom or something. So it's just
makes sense. So what, like, so you've put out like quite a few singles currently. Do you have any plans for like a longer release, like an EP or an album in the future?
Probably not.
Okay.
I don't see myself having the motivation to make a bunch of songs and keep them hidden and actually like get enough to have a full sort of album.
Okay.
Like I have ADHD, so it's very much like the current hobby I'll have for the current hobby, whatever it may be, I'll probably be super focused on it for like 2 months and then it will drop off for like 6 months before I get back to it. So music is one of those things that's on rotation. So for me to actually produce an entire album would take like 5 years for me to have the motivation to actually make enough songs. It's just so much easier for me to do singles.
That makes sense.
I feel like if I wanted to do an album, I'd want like all the songs to be quite flow from one to the other sort of thing, like have some sort of message in there or some sort of theme. And I'm not very good to sticking to one theme, so
it is certainly a daunting task, like making a concept album like that. I've thought a few times that, you know, I've wanted to, you know, sit down and write out a rock opera, but the few times that I've tried, it's just been, I can't, I cannot, I don't know, it's hard to conceptualize an entire story and like musical backing to go with it all by yourself. Like,
oh yeah.
There's
I feel
one
like
of
if
my
I
bands. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like if I was going to release an album, it would probably just be like remastering all the previous songs.
Yeah.
Like I just don't see myself doing it from scratch.
I mean, a compilation is always a compilation's always nice. Back in the 80s and 90s, you had all those alternative bands that were releasing their singles, and then they all had them compiled onto like multi-platinum, multi-diamond or whatever selling compilations.
Yeah.
Say,
Something about your friend?
oh yeah. When my other band, one of my bands, I think what our frontman is trying to, get us into the mode of writing a concept album, or rather, more explicitly, like a rock opera. And I'm really fascinated how that process is going to run, because, like, I think the best way to really do something like that together is to like get together for like essentially a drafting session. Like that's actually something Pink Floyd did back in the day when they were banging out The Wall, like in 1979. So I don't know, like I feel like you really need to brainstorm at scale and like put everything down on a sheet of paper and like draw arrows or whatever connecting things to really get a good idea of what you.
Yeah, exactly. And
That or
the
I could just be
idea
a
of
bad
trying to
songwriter. I don't know.
no, the idea of trying to put a song together with a group of people who may or may not have like different tastes in what they want to see is just insane to me. Like
Yeah.
it'd be so complex. I think that is a good start though, actually just brainstorming things.
Have you never been in a band or never had the inclination to want to be in one?
Not in a band that's produced their own music. It's always been like high school or like orchestras or something. So, but I've known people that have been in bands, and like the work that goes into producing their own music is insane. There's usually like one person who's basically in charge of it, and they'll send it to multiple people to get an idea of what they want. But it's just absolutely nuts the process involved in putting that together.
Absolutely.
And even just recording, whether you do it in your wardrobe or you actually book out a studio for it.
No, for real.
Like
I'm really fortunate in that like one of my bands, our bassist has just been like super generous in like helping us like record like a bunch of like he dropped like hundreds of bucks of his own money on like good like microphones, like mixers, other sorts of things, just to make sure like we could have our EPs sound right. And like the way we would record, right, we would essentially book out a studio, like lock out a studio for an entire day and just go in there and like record essentially drums there. I mean, we would also get scratch tracks on guitar and bass too, but like that was the whole is essentially the cheap way of like getting a good drum recording and not like renting out an actual professional recording studio.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, nice.
I mean, cheap for me. I don't know how expensive it was for my bassist.
How do you record like the bass and such like that? Are you just going through the mixer instead of doing live recordings? Or?
Well, usually the way it works, at least how it did for past two recordings we did, was we did like sort of a scratch track in the studio there while I was recording my drum part. And then later on, actually, I think that same day we did like a bunch of guitar takes that, using the natural echo of the room and like putting the amp behind, a glass pane or a plastic folding panel or whatever. Did a bunch of acoustics there. And then I think our bassist later on in his own time like recorded, parts to layer over. So. Well, not parts to layer over, awesome. But like, own bass tracks.
How was that for trying to get the timing right?
I mean, actually quite nice. You know, if you practice tracks with a
Mm,
metronome for like weeks before going into the studio,
yeah,
you'll
true.
have a better grasp of like, I guess, how to get y'all together eventually.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
nice. No, metronomes have saved my ass so many times.
they're honestly so helpful. You know,
Yeah.
I'm sad that I didn't, you know, practice with them sooner. I only really took
Mm.
that up, you know, when I was, you know, starting drum lessons in college, essentially.
Yeah, the foot tapping can only get you so far, especially when
Hmm.
you're recording. It's got to be so accurate.
Yeah, yeah. Um, um, is is songwriting something that comes natural to you, or do you have to really work for it?
Um, it didn't in the past.
Hmm.
I really sucked at songwriting growing up, but now it's definitely coming a bit more natural. I think um I don't I don't stress over it too much anymore. I sort of just go with the flow, what seems to be coming out.
Right.
Like I'm very good at improvising, so I think
Mm-hmm.
I build off that a lot in my own songwriting.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean I've always been quite good at poetry and such, so being able to put lyrics to it is not too bad for me. It's just pulling it all together is always the hard part, or even just starting, trying to work out
Yeah.
what the melody itself should be.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
No, it is always hard, you know, to get that first step finished. I'm I'm or even the final step. Like I've been sitting uh, I've been sitting so long on like this ending idea for like a song that I'm supposed to that my band we're trying to record soon, and I just
mm,
haven't gotten around to demoing what I want to fucking do with that last part yet.
yeah, nice. No, it's always I don't know the last like 10% that seems to take the most work. I find that songs are never really finished; they're just good enough. You just find a
Yeah,
stopping
yeah.
point.
I don't know. It's it's a whole process. I haven't personally written a song like back to front in years, so
Mm, definitely a whole process. Yeah.
um. So I have to ask, you know, given the squawking going on in the background, no, I'm an animal lover myself. How many pets do you own?
A lot. Definitely one of my other passions. I've got 3 birds, so
Mm,
one budgie and 2 green cheek conures.
mm,
Um, I've got a bunch of fish. I love like escaping aquariums.
mm.
Um, so I've got a bunch of aquariums in the house. That's definitely too small for the amount of aquariums I have. And then I've got 2 dogs. So I've got a bit of a strange mix. I've got the German Shepherd, who's the one that had the health issues growing up,
Right,
and I got
right.
a Jack Russell Terrier, which we adopted end of last year.
That's
He's
cute.
brand new. So we've got 2 very high energy dogs, and one that's very large, one that's very small.
Love terriers. They always look like old men.
Nah,
uh,
he's great.
yeah, no, it's I was looking at like your channel like like a few days before this stream. You know, I noticed your IRL channel, just how many like tank videos there were there, and I'm like,
So many.
damn, this girl is dedicated to her craft.
Oh yeah. It's so much fun. The fish have got a lot of character. But what
Hmm.
I really love is actually like aquascaping, putting all the plants in, creating some sort of like
Yeah.
natural style view. I like doing terrariums as well. I suck at the garden for some reason. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but
Right, right, right.
but in small quantities, I can definitely put something together.
Hmm.
It's just another form of art, I find,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
the added benefit of having animals associated with it.
True. How difficult are they all to take care of? I mean, does it vary from species to species, or is there any added challenge in like trying to care for them all in the same space?
Yeah, definitely vary from species to species. Yeah, for example, like different fish have different temperaments. You can have fish that'll try to kill each other,
Yeah,
or you can
yeah.
have fish that are very peaceful. Um, it varies a lot. I find in terms of the overall care, it's little things you can do daily.
Right,
Particularly
yeah.
in like today's society and where we've gotten with technology, a lot of things can be automated now. Even
That's
like
true,
feeding
yeah.
the fish is automated.
That's cool.
Um, Definitely the dogs have the most effort involved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just walking and such like that, the exercise level they need.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but it's one of those things where like you enjoy doing it, so it's not so much of a chore, just a little bit each day.
Yeah. Yeah,
The
very
problem
true.
is when you want to go on holidays,
Yeah.
finding people to house sit or look after them. That's always the tricky part.
And I want to get a pet at some point. It's just I need to be in a place in my life, I think, where I am basically stable as I can be, financially, emotionally, before I take care of another living being.
Yeah, definitely. That's very responsible. What's it like owning a pet in New York though? I'd imagine they'd
Oh,
have restrictions or something with the
yeah, I mean,
the
it
level of
depends on
space.
depends on apartment to apartment. Some landlords hate them, some are more tolerant. I'm very fortunate right now to be living in a place where one of my roommates has like this adorable black kitty that roams all
Oh,
around the place. Yeah, his name is Alfred, and he's an absolute sweetheart.
oh, that's so cute. Do you have like any restrictions? Because I find like in Australia, depending on where you live, there's restrictions on the amount of pets. Like for example,
Um,
I live in a unit, so in order to get the
right.
second dog, we actually had to apply for a permit to
Oh,
have an excess amount of animals at the property. Which
oh yeah. See,
kind
I'm
of a
not
bit
sure
odd,
about like
considering two dogs is excess.
I'm not sure about any like bureaucracy like that. I'm sure like
Yeah,
depending on like if you've got like any exotic stuff coming in, I'm sure there's a lot of regulation around that. But I
yeah,
I
but
can't imagine. I feel like that sort of thing that varies from landlord to landlord more so than like having a legal code lay it out.
rather than like a, yeah, exactly. Ah, cool.
Uh, okay. Um, how how do your animals react to music? Do they like it?
Yeah, they seem to. I think it took them a little while to enjoy more of like the rock music and the heavy metal and stuff.
Yeah.
They definitely enjoy more of the cinematic and relaxing stuff more. I
Mm-hmm.
find there's a lot of psychiatry and psychology in music, whether it's people
Yeah.
or animals. Like we often put on like relaxing music when we leave the house to calm the dogs down, stuff like that.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen it used for like patients with dementia to
Right.
allow them to recall things. So if you think about like perhaps there's a song wherever whenever you listen to it you think of a particular memory. It's that sort of
Yeah.
connection. So no, I find that they quite enjoy it. I don't know if the fish
Yeah.
can hear it. They can probably just feel the vibrations, but the birds and the dogs definitely love it.
Yeah, it's fascinating, like the psychological properties that music can have
Hmm.
on like other species, even plants. Like even all the
Yeah.
studies with using music to help plants grow. It's like I don't know. I
It's crazy.
yeah yeah I'm not a particularly religious person, admittedly, but I do think that, the whole science behind audio is probably the closest that we have to capturing the divine in the real world.
Yeah.
Just like,
No, it's all
it's
that
so,
transfer of energy and vibration, how that connects to music. It's so I don't
it's
know.
so
I'd love
crazy,
to
like,
research it some more.
so crazy how, sound waves, like, depending on how big or how small or like how long or short they are, it's like you just stack a whole bunch of them on top of each other you take one out or you take a few out, and you've got a whole bunch of different sounds to work with.
Yeah, exactly.
I miss, like, I took like one audio engineering class like almost 10 years ago at this point, like when I was studying abroad, and you know, I've kind of been holding on to as much of that knowledge as I can. You know, what still remains after, you know, having slipped from my memory, but
Yeah.
but it's been, I don't know, it's been such a long time since I've really freshened my memory on like acoustics and all that. God knows that my room could probably use some like soundproof padding or whatever.
Yeah, I think the only thing I remember from my very limited classes in music and audio engineering and such was just to have a room that didn't have like walls that face each other that are parallel. You have to have different angles to bounce the sound around better. That's probably all I remember.
Yeah, oh, for sure. So, so we talked a bit about like music scenes from where we're from. I'm curious to know, have you gone to very many concerts? You know, rock, EDM, otherwise?
No, I've been to one, and I went like last year to a Sleep Token concert. It was my very first concert. I'd love to go see more. It's just not been something that I've I don't know, ever done. It's quite costly to do it here.
Oh yeah.
And you sort of need to buy the tickets like almost a year in advance, depending on the concert. And I'm never that organized. But my brother is, so I need to get him to bug me and when there's stuff that he's going to, because he always goes to them. Yeah, they're so much fun. Is
it just to make up for logistics? Is that why like prices are so high over there, or?
I suspect so, because a lot of the concerts are, you know, people from the UK or America coming over here to perform on a big tour. Yeah, we do have some Australian artists, but majority of the big events are international artists. So yeah, there is a lot of logistics there. It's also things like, you know, they book out like stadiums sometimes for these particular concerts. It's not always an actual building that's made for music, so it's the logistics of actually making sure you don't screw up the grass for the upcoming footy match or the cricket match or whatever. Yeah, there's a lot of, and it's also, they know how popular they are, so they know what they can charge to limit the amount of people, but also, you know, make the most profit and what people actually pay to see some of these concerts.
That sucks. I mean, here in the States, we have our own shitty, you know, scalping issues. We have issues with, you know, pre-purchase fees and whatever that are laid on that, like, after you've selected the cheapest ticket you want. It's like a whole bunch of like really cheap maneuvers that ticket processors or ticket sellers over there use to take people's money.
Yeah, right. And here it's not just depending on what you're seeing. Like, I'm fortunate that I live near Melbourne, where most of the concerts are, but a lot of people travel interstate to go see the concerts as well. So it's that additional cost. There's a lot of radio stations that will give away tickets, but they're almost always just like the mainstream musicians. There's never really any rock, so it's, if you want to go see metal or rock, you kind of need to put the price in.
I'm trying to imagine the poor bastard living in Alice Springs who's like the biggest fan of like international acts and has to like factor in the fucking 1,000-mile journey he's gonna need to go on to ever see any of them.
Yeah, I feel like if you wanted to do that, you wouldn't live in Alice Springs. But yeah, it's absolutely insane. And then you also got, like, you know, when you go to these concerts, you'll have merch stores that pop up, whether they're the official merch store or not. So it's that additional cost there.
Right.
Because if you want to get merch for a lot of bands in Australia, you're often buying stuff internationally, and shipping from
Yeah.
America, at the very least, usually costs more than the actual product. It doesn't matter what
Especially
it is.
nowadays.
Yeah, I don't understand it. You know, the shipping could be like $150 and the product's like 30. So it doesn't make any sense to me. Whereas
We
us
are.
sending stuff to you is like $20. Like,
Yeah. On behalf of my government, I apologize for the awful shipping prices.
yeah, I've never been able to understand it. But
Uh,
it's all those little costs. It could be things like if you're traveling, it's also the hotel. Like,
yeah.
oh, absolutely nuts. But yeah, definitely want to go to more in the future. Because we
I'm
do
su-
get a lot of really good artists here.
I mean, I'm sure, like in Melbourne, I'm sure there's like some decent local gigs going on every. I don't know like what the
There
current
are.
scene is like, but
They're a lot harder to find. It's a lot of people performing in bars and such.
Right.
And like as you said earlier, actually trying to advertise yourself and get out there is quite difficult.
yeah,
Like you might find that an indie band would only advertise on Instagram or something like that, and the
yeah,
bar itself is not advertising. There used to be a lot of, you know, putting adverts in local newspapers to try and get
Okay.
people to come to your gigs, but newspapers aren't really a thing here anymore. You know, we get all of our news from, well, even not even the TV anymore. It's mostly things
Yeah.
like YouTube and such. So
Yeah.
getting the word out is a lot harder. I find it's very local based. A lot of suburbs and towns here will have like a Facebook group or something that they use
Yeah.
as a notice board.
Yeah, no,
So the
we've had
reach
that
is
here
very
too.
small. The reach is very small unless you're like an international player.
Yeah. No, it's really difficult these days to really break through all the noise of social media and get your name out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like coming from the VTuber scene, even before I was doing VTubing and I was more doing like cosplay and such.
Oh yeah.
Like the amount of work that goes into getting your name out there is insane.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like daily making content, and I've sort of reached a point where I know I'm doing this for fun, so I've gotten a bit slack with it all.
Not
But
to-
you
not-
notice a change,
not
like
to
when you're
men-
not
not to-
constantly.
Sorry,
Yeah.
not to mention like all of the all the planning and logistics you need to work out for going to all the cons you need to go to throughout a year. I can only imagine
Yeah.
like that adds up.
No, I've sort of given up on cons. It was so much work. But even stuff like as a streamer, you know, editing your clips for short form content. Like
Yeah.
I used to do that and put out videos every single day, and it's so much additional work. And it definitely makes a difference to your reach and your numbers.
Right.
But at the same time, it's so much work. And
Mhm.
I work full time, so it's just
Yeah.
and doing that in the music scene would be so much harder.
That
Oh my
is,
God.
I did try to do that too when I was, you know, a variety streamer and early in the day, and you know, it was fun making those clips, but you know, like you said, it's a lot of effort to keep that up, you know, day after day or week by week, like trying to upload something, you know, to keep your name and your subscribers, you know, feed or whatever. That's
Yeah,
why I just
exactly.
refocused. That's why I just refocused into, you know, editing long form stuff for my channel, because I like the editing fine enough. Why not just double down on that?
Yeah, definitely. Long form content is definitely a lot of fun to edit. You know, even more so work though, especially if you're trying to put out like weekly videos or something.
Yeah.
You know, it could be 2 hours of recording and then what 3, 4, 5 hours of editing, depending on exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's
That's why I take my time. I take my sweet ass
Yeah.
time, and I hope my viewers understand.
Yeah, I much prefer streaming. I find, you know, you get to show up, have fun with your community. But in terms of like
Yeah.
growing it, you obviously need other inputs into
Exactly.
things like Twitch and YouTube streaming to grow it.
Yeah.
I actually started doing a lot of like hanging out in the Discord with the community, having
Yeah.
nights where instead of streaming to Twitch is where I primarily
Yeah.
stream. Doing like Discord screen shares and just chatting with people and having them show what they're gaming, like sort of like a side-by-side gaming sort of scenario, which has been a lot
Right.
more relaxing for those days where I'm exhausted from work.
I ought to pick
Yeah.
something like that up too. I've wanted to multi-stream on Twitch for a bit, just try to get some sort of presence there, but also like, apparently there's like a streaming option on Patreon too now. Like I could probably do something for my patrons there at some point. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think there is.
There's a lot
I'm trying to
more.
remember
There's
it.
a lot more that I could do to try and get my name out there, but
Yeah.
for right now, I'm happy to sort of focus on my work and making my content the best that it could be.
Exactly, yeah. I find Patreon's quite restrictive as well in terms of what sort of content you can put out.
Yeah.
But I'd imagine it wouldn't be too much different from like YouTube members. Not that I've used it that much, but
Yeah,
yeah,
for
it's
sure.
that sort of thing.
So kind of, I guess, speaking of like streaming and all that, as a streamer, how do you try to incorporate your music side in streams, if at all?
Not often. See, the problem with streaming is demonetization and copyright.
Yeah.
And even trying to play my own music will get me striked, just because of how
Really?
it's set up. Yeah, I go through DistroKid, and you can't really easily tell them, don't strike this. It is me, unless it's like YouTube, which is it's fairly automatic how it puts out your music on YouTube Music.
Right.
So it's a lot easier not to. I don't think I've ever edited music on stream, which is definitely something that you could do. Yeah, I've definitely done like art streams before, but I mostly find it to be more fun, doing gaming streams. I find streaming is a very precise sort of level of content where you need to be entertaining. There's a lot of tutorials and such out there if you look into it about you need to keep talking essentially. So I find if I was to put out music content, I don't think I'd be able to keep talking. I wouldn't be able to do it entertainingly. But that being said, I do have a friend who he hasn't released music yet, but he has written music, and he does live performances on stream. I cannot imagine the setup that goes into doing it. It is insane. He puts up like 3 different camera views, and chat can change the camera whenever they want. They can change the lights. They can suggest songs, and he just knows them and starts playing them.
That's awesome.
That would be amazing, but I never have that good a memory of my songs to be able to play them like that.
You never
Particularly
know.
with all the effects and such.
Maybe someday, you can shell up, you can put a bunch of your money into, just doing a sort of indie VTuber thing. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
I feel like
There's
nowadays
a lot of ways you can do it.
we're living in a period in VTuber where more and more indies are trying to get out there and build their own I guess touring infrastructure, because all the corpos have been doing just fine with setting up gigs or whatever overseas, and like doing all the expos in Japan or whatever. But it's really inspirational to me to see indies really take the mantle and do their own thing with it.
Definitely, yeah. Like VTubing itself is super complicated, but like turning it into an outlet for music, like doing a virtual performance and such, is so cool.
It's the next evolution of Vocaloid.
Yeah, definitely.
Along those lines, so when you stream video games, right? What's your favorite game?
Oh, I feel like I'm obligated to say Destiny 2, considering how many hours I put into it. I feel like I have a set that I rotate through. It really depends on what I'm feeling at the time. Like I grew up playing a lot of Halo, obviously, but also things
Yeah.
like Skyrim.
Oh,
Not that I stream that too often. I find the most fun streams are the ones you do with other people, though.
yeah, yeah.
Whether it's Destiny or maybe something like Repo, like some sort of group game.
Mm.
They're definitely the most easy and entertaining for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But Destiny's the one I'm known for, so I feel like I'm up against to say that one.
That makes sense. I'm not that familiar with Destiny as a whole. It's a looter shooter, right?
It's a looter shooter, sci-fi looter shooter.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of those games where you love it and you hate it simultaneously.
So I've
But you
heard.
keep coming back to it.
I know that ironically both Bungie and 343 Studios have bad reputations these days. It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't know, the game industry's not the best place to be at the moment, I find.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for me, I love the games that are fun to play with people, and Destiny's got some really hard content where you have to work together as a team, and you know it's complicated puzzles and such, which are really fun for us.
Yeah.
But we also just love the lore behind it, the story, how
Yeah.
deep it goes. That's I think what's kept me going back to the game constantly.
Yeah. It's always great when you've got like a game universe with really deep lore building and
Yeah.
world building, because you know that there's at least like a team of like 10 guys that put their heads together for months working on all that shit.
It's nuts. Like some of the stories in Destiny, they've been going on for 10 years. Like we had one DLC recently that brought up things that were like fundamental to the story and just turned it on their heads. Like it was, and you could see all the little breadcrumbs that they laid out throughout that 10-year period. Like it was nuts.
That's cool.
Love those sort of games. Warframe's another one that does that really well that I quite enjoy.
Yeah.
And then there's always the the Minecraft 2-week stints.
Oh gosh. Do you have a favorite video game OST?
Ooh, yeah, probably Halo.
Oh yeah.
Can't go past Halo.
Those are some great scores.
Really good scores, yeah.
I remember getting into Halo like when I was. I didn't ever own like an Xbox myself, but I had a really good friend like back in middle school, high school, who, he brought me over to his place and we would just, try to get through all the campaigns.
Yeah, I feel like I run through the campaigns yearly now, just sort of on repeat. But I absolutely love that score. And then those composers went into Destiny as well, so there's some good stuff in there too. I really enjoy also games like the Bethesda games, Fallout and Elder Scrolls. They've got some really lovely pieces. But Halo's definitely the one I keep coming back to.
Yeah. So zooming out a bit more and like talking about VTubing in general, what inspired you to become a VTuber?
I got sick of putting on makeup for every stream. Is the short answer.
Were you like a face cammer before?
Facecam streamer, yeah. And I found it absolutely exhausting to have my face constantly on stream. But I knew that that having a personality or a face that people can see is quite good for your stream and your brand. Makes people like associate with you, builds a sense of community. And I had a couple of people I knew that had VTubers. I found it really cool that they've taken this piece of art and turned it into something animated. So I decided to just sit down for another ADHD hyperfixation, but sit down for 2 days, and I came up with a VTuber. Taught myself how to animate it and such, and since then, every now and then I just build on more to it. To what it is today. I always wanted to turn it into like a spider, but I didn't technically know how to do it. So it started off as just the base model with legs essentially, and then it turned into the spider form that I can actually switch between it now. And yeah, and recently I started looking at like animation. So now I've got like a halo that swirls around. I've got stuff that if people follow or subscribe, there's like hearts and things that pop up on the screen.
I need to figure out those reactive elements. I'd like to have a bit more pizzazz on stream.
What do you use?
I'm an OBS guy.
Yep.
So I've
but
got
in terms of your model.
Oh, VC face. The model
VC
itself
face, yeah.
I made in Vroid, but I do face to pilot it.
Yeah, nice. No, I did muck around with VC face for a while. It's quite good, and Vroid as well. I don't know how much like interactivity there is there. But I've looked at 3D models before, and I just found animating them seemed a little bit harder in terms of like 2D can be very expressive, and you can add bits and pieces to it. Being able to add like 3D items to a 3D model is a little bit trickier in my experience.
What do you hope to do as a musician, VTuber community? Is there anything like musically you want to attempt as a VTuber, or do you want to keep that sort of separate from what you do on stream?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really intentionally tend to keep it separate. I just found in terms of like advertising and such, it's always a little bit trickier to set up recording a VTuber. There's a lot of editing that goes into that sort of content rather than doing a silly TikTok video over your music.
Absolutely.
I think for me, I like with all my endeavors them to feel a bit more accessible for people. I'm one of those people that don't really see that I can't do something. I sort of just I'll give it a go, see how it goes, sort of thing.
Right.
And I think music is definitely one of those things where if you're passionate about it, you can just jump in and devote your time and effort to it and actually get somewhere. It doesn't have to be something that's so far off in the distance that you can't reach it. So that's probably more where I'd aim, instead of what sort of content or music I'd create. It's more what sort of message do I want to send out with it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I'm recording stuff in a wardrobe with free software. Like you can start from nowhere and still create nice things.
Absolutely. Do you have any dream goals or collabs?
A little bit. I've got a couple of friends that are big on music that I'd love to do a collab with at some point.
Nice.
Problem is, one's in Adelaide and the other one's in Ireland, so it's logistically a little tricky. I think that's something that's sort of been on our list for a while, but we haven't sat down and been motivated to actually make it happen. So that'd be great to release something with them at some point. Or at least have a bit of a jam sesh. It's been a long time since I have one of those, especially with COVID and everything.
I feel
long time since I've had a jam sesh.
I feel like the Australian VTuber scene is so interesting because as opposed to most other things in Australia, with music or all the arts or whatever, I feel like geographic distance isn't as big of a limiting factor in y'all coming together and doing your own thing.
I think the problem is finding Australian VTubers. I have a couple that I know, but particularly if you're in the gaming sector, all the game developers are mostly in the United States. So when you're looking to have sponsorships and collab with people that play those games, you're mostly looking at Americans. So most of the people I know are American. There are ways to find Australian VTubers. There is a Australian VTuber Discord group who have a Twitch team that I'm a part of. But then you're almost inundated with people that aren't sorted by what they enjoy doing, whether it's music or a particular game. So it can be a bit hard to sift through. It's very it's mostly word of mouth. It's, oh, you know, I know this Australian VTuber as well. Like, oh, you're Australian. I also watch this person. Like, it's that sort of
Okay,
thing is how
okay.
you find us, I find.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Because I wonder, like,
yeah.
because there's so many, like, different Australians in, like, the corporate VTubing world. I kind of wonder, like, how they all came up and, like, got to where they were.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I'm not even aware of who's in the corporate Australian VTuber world. It's so, like, our view when it comes to streaming is so focused on America, which we see as like where you want to go. That's where like all the big sponsorships and stuff are. Yeah, it's hard to see. Oh, hang on. No, we're an entire country that has people that do the same thing. What have we actually got at home?
Huh? What'd you say?
It's like what do we actually have at home, like in our own country when it comes to you know, corporate VTubers and stuff. I do need to do more research on it. I'm very bad at it.
I wasn't talking about like corporation in Australia. I'm talking more about like, you know, Australians that have went and joined like the major Japanese companies. You know, people like Luca Kaneshiro or Ren Soto, those sorts of.
Yep, to be honest, I don't recognize those names. I'm very bad at it. Very bad.
That's fair. I mean, I feel like the VTuber community is so big these days that, like, you know, the big corpo bugbears that, you know, everybody was into years ago. It's entirely possible for new people coming into the scene to just be completely oblivious to that. So,
yeah, I feel like
you.
no, for me, VTubing has always been like, I've had friends that have done it. I've enjoyed the art style.
Right.
And so I've just hopped in without actually understanding the background of it all, the history of it, and who's currently big. I have people all the time, they're like, oh, you know, so-and-so, like, you know, some amazing, incredible VTuber who's known internationally. And I'm like, I'm going to have to look them up. Because for me, my focus has always been, you know, gaming, whether it's Destiny or not, or the art space. So a lot of people I know because I know their art. That's how I know they're a VTuber. It's that sort of thing.
So I'm wondering, you have a VGen, right? And you take art commissions on there currently?
I do. Yeah.
Do you? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mostly do a lot of Destiny 2 art. That's just it's because I've been sponsored by Bungie and such before, so it's very much where a lot of my content is.
Okay.
So that's the majority of it. I have done PNG tubers before. Haven't done a VTuber besides my own. Just because I find it's so complex, but you're also I'm always meddling with mine. I'm like, oh, like I've worked out this new thing I can do. I can definitely program that into mine. And I feel like if I produce one for someone, I'm gonna always want to change it, which is not very cost effective.
Yeah.
I've definitely offered it to friends. I've been like, you know, if you want to be, if you want to create a VTuber, but you don't have the money to do it, let me know, and I'll see if I can put one together for you to get you started.
Okay.
But a lot of them have instead opted to be PNG tubers instead, or just save up the money and wait until they can afford exactly what they want.
That makes sense. Do you think you would ever do like music commissions on VGen, like for backgrounds, jingles, etc.?
Ooh, maybe. I don't feel like I'm experienced enough, which is kind of silly to say.
No, I mean, that's fair.
But I stumbled through my hobbies a bit through like self-learning, unless it's something I've learnt through high school or uni or some other spot. It's mostly figuring out myself, which I don't like offering as a service for someone else, because I feel like they're not getting like exactly what they should get for their money. So if I did, it'd be very cheap.
Yeah. No,
just to sort of get that practice in. Yeah.
It's a whole different beast, you know, writing for yourself versus like writing to a deadline for another person. So, you know, I totally get the hesitation there. I doubt that I could ever myself do something like that. I mean, for one, because I'm not even you know, on that level of production. But just like
but that being said, like, I never thought I would offer art as commissions, and now I do it regularly. So you never know. It's one of those things
Yeah.
where I find you sort of dip your toe in, try it out, maybe do it for like a couple of friends first, and then maybe you find you really love it. Maybe you don't.
Absolutely.
But I have ADHD is a reward and a curse. Like I have so many outlets and hobbies that
Yeah.
I feel like adding music commissions to the list would be unrealistic in spreading out my time.
Right, right.
But yeah, occasionally maybe I'll look at doing that for some friends to start off with
Makes sense.
because it is fun,
Makes
especially if it's someone like you know and trust. You sort of know what
Yeah,
styles
yeah.
of music and such that they like. So you're like, oh yeah, like I have this idea that totally fits exactly what your brand is. Like,
Yeah, for sure. So we're just about at the end of my list of questions. One thing that I usually like to streams off with is, given the chaotic state of world affairs these days,
yeah.
I often wonder of my guests, what music do you like to turn to in times of stress? Like when you're angry, sad, depressed, other negative emotions swirling around in your head. What do you turn to?
Ooh, okay, it definitely depends on the emotion. Lately, I find Sleep Token is definitely a really good space for me to get out my emotions. It's quite deep and beautiful, and there's some really sad songs in there as well.
I mean, they run the
but
gamut
then
of emotions on their tracks, don't they? Like
you do,
they
yeah,
flip through so many different styles of music.
so many. But then at the same time, sometimes. Especially as a gamer who enjoys shooters, sometimes
Yeah.
you just have to go kill aliens, as I like to call it. So I have playlists that are, I think one of them's literally called Badass, and it's just things to get me into the mood to actually actually hit my shots.
Oh my God.
And
I
that's
think you would.
it's a lot of
I think you would like
Yeah?
the Doom soundtracks. Composed
Doom
by,
soundtrack is so good.
by your countryman Mick Gordon. God bless him.
I love Doom. It's actually one I forgot about.
Yeah.
It's so buried in my conscious. When we first got the original Xbox when I was 6,
Yeah.
one of the games we got was Doom. I don't remember which. I think it was Doom 3 or Doom 2.
Yeah, but it probably would have been
and-
Doom 3.
Yeah, and the soundtrack in that was absolutely amazing. I was never allowed to play it. It lived in Dad's sock drawer, so that I couldn't find it.
Okay.
I could only sit and watch it when he plays. But coming back to Doom now and playing some of the more recent games, God, that soundtrack is so good. So
Yeah,
good.
They really did a good job.
Yeah, but a lot of stuff like I Prevail was one that I used to listen to a lot. Normandy's another one. Just looking through the Starset, definitely. There's a couple of really good fun songs in that. Anything that makes you feel a bit more powerful, sort of what you'd have in like a gym session playlist.
Yeah. I mean, it helps to have confidence. If the world can't be a stable place, at the very least, you can stabilize yourself.
And I guess that goes back to like the psychology of music again. Like,
Yeah.
depending on what artists you listen to, depending on their styles, there's a lot of artists that stay with the happy stuff and a lot of artists that stay with the sadder sort of end of the spectrum. And you can really influence your mood based on the type of music you listen to. I find sometimes like a lot of the rock can be quite depressing, especially from like the 2000s, 2010s.
Oh yeah.
And I find sometimes I'll be listening to that as part of like work, just to get me through the day. And my mood will fall, and I'll have to switch to an entirely different genre. Which is probably why I have such a large range, just to balance it out again.
Yeah.
But what about you? What sort of stuff do you listen to in this day and age?
That is a good question. I mean, usually if I'm blowing off steam, it's with that yet another rhythm game that I mentioned. But
Yep.
I guess I'm more the person that's about catharsis. I try to listen to I listen to a lot of heavy stuff typically. Especially like you said, sort of the stuff that gets you in the mood to go to the gym.
Yeah, nice. I love it.
Yeah, I'm a huge if you're if you're curious to get into a band from your country, you know, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, they're heavy as shit. It
Yep.
really does hit the mark
Have heard of those.
sometimes.
I haven't looked them up yet, but it is on my list. I have been recommended that one before. Yeah, awesome.
They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, I think that's just about all that I had prepared for our stream today. Thank you so much for coming, Vix. You know, this was a very cool talk.
No, thank you for having me. It's been great. Very much enjoyed it.
Where can people best find you?
Mostly Twitch these days, but I'm on pretty much every social media you can think of. Biggest presence is probably TikTok. I just don't use it as much anymore, but Starkest Vixen, you can look that up on most socials and you'll find me.
Okay.
Mainly in the Discord, to be honest. Which is linked in Twitch anyway.
Yeah, I'll put up your Twitch right quick. Alright. There y'all go. If y'all are tuning in from my audience, definitely go check her out. She's got some decent tunes on Spotify, with hopefully more to come in the future. And if you're coming over from her crowd and you liked our stream today, please consider subscribing to my channel, giving a like to the video, maybe leaving a comment below. I do streams like this every week, every other week, depending on workload, because I also work on a bunch of these deep dive music history video essays that I release every few months or so. It's a whole process and a half to make them, but I think they're pretty worthy documentary content if you enjoy that sort of thing. So would like to support me, that would be much appreciated. But otherwise, thank you all so much for tuning in today. Let me see if there's any good people that I can raid into. I really have a lot of we don't have too many raiders, and if you don't want to join me, that is all well and good, but I think we're going to go I'm gonna say hi to Pia. I think Pia P UFO, and we are going to say to her, can't raid. So if you'd like to join me, feel free. But otherwise, thank you all for joining me today once again for another Orange Cat Music Chat. More news to come, hopefully soon, with the Glam Metal Deep Dive Part 3, especially for Patreons tomorrow. I'm probably going to have a blog update there. But all that to say, big things happening in the channel. And I can't wait to see y'all next time, either for music talk or whatever else. So with that being said, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Think she really. I wanted